216. I welcome everybody on the phone or present. First item on the list here is approval of July meeting minutes.
I move their approval.
Second.
I hear a motion to approve and second the meeting minutes. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Against? Passes. Next item on the agenda is approval of July, August vouchers. The vouchers have
packets
been
still.
passed around.
Yeah,
Well, I've looked at them, I'll move approval.
you did, okay, thank you.
I'll second.
I hear a motion to approve the
Do you want
vouchers.
to pass them
And
on,
second.
at least here?
Any discussion on the vouchers? Expenditures or revenues on the
Yeah,
vouchers?
the top sheet is a recap, but then the details are within, so just so you know that if you had a question on something specific, we can dig through the receipts.
Any discussion on vouchers? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Against? That passes. Third item, public comment. Is there any public comment for the Enrichment Center Committee? Second time, any public comment?
I guess I just have a question, maybe of the alderman here.
Yeah.
The name of the property been changed to the fairgrounds?
I believe
yeah.
it has been reverted back to the fairgrounds.
So what's the name now of it?
Merrill Fairgrounds.
Merrill.
Merrill?
It's back to Merrill Fairgrounds versus the change
That's
went to Merrill Festival and it went back to Fairgrounds. Nathan, is that correct?
Yes, it is now Merrill Fairgrounds,
No,
not
Merrill Fairgrounds.
Not
anything.
Lincoln County Fairgrounds?
No,
I was told it's Lincoln County Fairgrounds, and I thought that was odd.
no, it is the Merrill Fairgrounds because it is not associated with the Lincoln County government system, so.
Okay. Any further public comment or discussion?
What was the reason for the change?
That's a good question. I'm thankful Nathan's here because I don't know the reason.
The reasoning that I basically got was the change back from festival grounds to fairgrounds was nobody would call it the festival grounds. Essentially, it was just that it was consistently called the fairgrounds, the fairgrounds, the fairgrounds. So it just
It just went back to what it was.
it,
Did it cause confusion at all?
there was confusion.
Okay.
There was a lot of confusion from
Okay.
people. So
All right.
I mean, it had been the fairgrounds for how many years?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
it's hard to get people to change.
to change. Okay.
Sometimes. So
No. Okay.
Familiarity, I guess. Any further discussion or comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item, the ADRC. And I believe Jennifer is on the phone.
Yes.
She can discuss that for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of updates to share at this time, but I just wanted to mention our Stepping On program. Stepping On is our fall prevention, our 7-week fall prevention program. And it's been quite some time since we've been able to get this program off the ground in the Merrill area, primarily just because it does require some 2 trained facilitators to lead, which we struggled a little bit with getting some facilitators on board. So we finally just got somebody trained, so her and I will be leading a class coming up here, and I'm just going to give you the dates here quick. Wednesday, September 11th through October 23rd from 9:30 to 11:30, and we're going to be housing that over at the Lincoln County Service Center building. So it's just an opportunity for people to, we titled is Better Your Balance, and so they have an opportunity to work with a physical therapist, an optometrist, a pharmacist, community safety experts, so someone from the police or fire department, and just talks about all things fall related. So it's very multifactorial. We cover a lot of different topics related to strength and balance, vision and hearing, medication, in-home safety, footwear, all of those things. So we are just starting to get some information out to the community. Pre-registration is required, so people do have to call to pre-register, but it is free. Contributions are welcome. Usually how we do that is just set a contribution box out, and if people can contribute, they can. If they can't, that's okay too. So we're really excited to hopefully bring that back into the community a little bit more and get that out, as falls are a huge issue. I don't know if I've shared this statistic before, but falls Wisconsin is ranked #1 in fall-related deaths in the United States. So it's a huge issue. We're hearing a lot from our fire departments, our EMS, hospitals, clinics about this issue, and I think we're starting to hear more traction on the topic itself. So that is about all I have to share. If there's any questions on that, otherwise I think that's it.
Thanks, Jennifer. I think that the Stepping On program is a great complement to our Strong Bodies program as well.
Absolutely.
We touch on
Sounds
similar
like you're
things.
expanding that too. We have some grant funds, I think. Are you getting 2 new people trained in the
We
Strong Bodies
did just
program?
get 2 new people trained. As a matter of fact, they're both city employees that I recruited. So we're very thankful, and we may be be able to offer a 3rd time slot for the training. And I just taught my morning class this morning, and had some new faces in there. So it's going well, and I think that we can share this information with them also, so that we can get people in. The demographic we see here, we've had some recent people come in who had fallen, and so it's scary. And if we can help prevent them from those terrible falls, and thankfully they were able to still come here after a fall that they sustained. So it is scary. So the
it is very scary.
more you can do, the better. So
yeah, and absolutely. I think, like you said, the 2 programs really do complement each other. In fact, I think a lot of the Strong Bodies exercises are something that our PT actually covers in Stepping On as well. So
good.
just a lot of good resources available. I think just trying to get the word out and share it with people.
Yes, that's wonderful. All right, and you said Wednesday, September 11th through October 23rd, and what were the times for the sessions?
They are September 11th through October 23rd, 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Oh, it's 2 hours. Okay, wonderful.
Yep. And I can't remember if I sent you the flyer or not for this, but I'm happy to resend it if you don't have it.
Yeah, I think we do have it, and I think we have it posted, but I will double check and make sure that we have it, and if we don't, I'll let you know.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Why is Wisconsin #1 in the nation? I mean, we have cold weather, I know that, but so does Minnesota and
That's true.
North Dakota
Right,
and
absolutely.
all over, Michigan. Why Wisconsin?
Yeah, we get that question all the time. There's not really there's not really an answer to it. I have my own ideas. I mean, I think our winter weather plays a role. Wisconsin is a big alcohol, there's a lot of alcohol. There's a lot of inactivity. We have a high rate of older adults. We have a lack of caregivers. There's just a lot of things I think that contribute to it. But I can't say that there's one pinpoint reason why. But I think all of those things probably play a role at some point.
Mm-hmm. It is a great question, because you're right, Michigan, Minnesota.
Well, and then I think too of just like when you look at Wisconsin and the chronic health issues people have, when we talk about chronic health issues, we talk about being on multiple medications, and then when people are on multiple medications, they're interacting and having side effects. And so, I've talked to so many people on so many different medications that are causing, dizziness, lightheadedness,
Oh, yes.
And they don't know what questions to ask their doctors, or they're not going in for regular visits or things like that. I think, yeah, like I said, I think that all plays into it for sure.
Yeah, just, yeah, the overall health of the state, right? And how they prioritize that and try to help and are able to help people. Yeah, lots of,
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
factors.
Is Wisconsin's statistic broken down by county?
Yeah, you can actually find data on it. I don't have it up currently, but I can share the website. Actually, it's really interesting. It does split it out by different counties, and the counties that the EDRC serves are definitely high. I don't know Lincoln County off the top of my head, but yeah, we do see a lot. And just talking with some of our fire departments, many of our fire departments, this is their number one call. They are going on calls constantly for falls, whether that's a transport to the hospital because somebody falled, or if it's just a phone call because they can't get up and they need somebody to come and help them, boost them off the floor. But it is their number one call. It's fall related calls. So.
How do you promote your?
And like
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead.
How do you
I was
promote,
gonna say that.
promote your program?
How do I promote it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a professional contact list. I definitely reached out to the churches. We are trying to get an article into the newspaper or an advertisement into the newspaper. That's typically how people would hear about it.
Sure.
But certainly, with MUC sharing is great. The more partners that we can get to kind of share that information out in the community. The library has a flyer. We have Meals on Wheels, so our senior dining sites, we typically will do like a presentation at those sites too to drum up some interest, or the senior housing complexes, are just a few ways I can think of off the top of my head.
What's the ratio, male and female?
We see both, honestly, with stepping on. I would say, if I had to look over the years, there's probably been more females than males, but we do have quite a few males that have gone through the program. And I would say every class there's at least 3 males in the program.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they'll come as a couple, a husband and wife
Sure.
couple.
Yeah.
But we have had some males that have participated by themselves as well.
Sure.
So yeah.
Okay.
I was just going to mention too, the Wisconsin Institute for Healthy Aging is a statewide entity that primarily is focused on falls prevention, and they have really kind of, I think there's just a lot of conversation going on right now about it, and so that's exciting too. I think that for so long this has been an issue, but there hasn't really been a lot of work being done around it, so we're just starting to see an uptick in the amount of work or the focus on fall prevention a little bit more too.
What day of the week is the sessions, or are the sessions?
They're on Wednesdays.
Wednesday. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any other further questions for Jennifer? Thank you, Jennifer,
Thanks, Jen.
for your input.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to number 5, operations. We have a recap on festival quotes.
Yes, so I printed out a recap for you, high level. So this planning started over a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. We run every 2 years, so this is our second show. But the planning starts a year out, so it's a huge undertaking. The committee members, if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have a show. So Carol had served on the first committee. She understands fully how intense that is. So I listed the committee members, and we thanked them more, I think, well, not more than we can keep thanking them. But they are true organizers and administrators of a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. So everyone sees the end result, but not everything that goes into it. So I want to make sure to publicly thank the committee as well. So the show ran on August 2nd from 1 to 6 and the 3rd from 9 to 3. We had 12 vendors here, and who were all very pleased with the show in itself. Some, of course, did better than others, which is natural, depending on what products they bring to their tables to sell. And did any of you get to make it to the show? Yeah, okay. So you may have seen on Facebook or heard through the grapevine, but we really did have good attendance. It was a little slower on Saturday than the previous show. So I was a little concerned, of course, but we're competing with so many other things going on at the same time. It's very hard, even on a monthly basis, for us to schedule activities and workshops and everything around, well, ever since social media. If you go on Facebook, there's, well, what should we do this weekend? Well, there's 500 things to choose from in the States, if not more. So trying to strategically find the right weekend to offer a quilt show, just like our craft shows. That's why we canceled our spring one, because the market is flooded. And what happens is when somebody sees something like a quilt show, it's like, oh, we should do that. That's let's do that too, because they're well attended, they're fantastic, but then now the market's saturated. So I was getting a little nervous, but if you look at our numbers, the quilt entries, with a total of 57 people entered quilts, there were 105 entries, and that we brought in $515 from entry fees, or quilt entries. Vendor entry fees, $785. We did have attendance of 508 people. 67 were free entries because we gave vendors, volunteers, committee, people who display their quilts. They got a little thing for getting in for free, of course, for appreciation. But so we took our attendance based off of the intake of the money from fees, entry fees. I think that might be a little lower than the first year, if I'm not mistaken. I have to cross-reference that, but I feel like it's a little lower. Our quilt raffle brought in almost $900, so that was fantastic. Our food sales were over $2,000, but the profit was $678. So our total profit for the show was $2,270.45. So not bad. I was hopeful that it would be a little higher, just because I know what it takes on the planning part, on the organizing, on the time, on the extra payroll that I have to spend for the three of us to be here. So all of those factors involved. Kind of hoping for more, but at least it's not red. So,
Excuse me, do you know how it compares to the previous show?
I should have written down those numbers. I will get those to you, and published also for our next meeting. But I can get those to you for sure, both on the attendance and then the total profit.
Do we get to keep the profit and use it here?
But that's a great question. So we are required to pay into the city at the end of the year X amount of dollars. So this very well could go to that pay-in that we are required to pay in. So it stays in our festival quilts, which is under our quilt room budget line item. It'll sit there. It'll stay there for us to use, possibly for the next show, or for quilting outreach, whatever wherever the need is. But in the full budget of it, all the money we bring in for the year, so it'll be Emily, our finance director, will do some numbers and say, I need you to pay in $8,000 for this year. I need you to pay in $10,000 for this year for us to continue to be functional, I guess. So we are required to pay the city to be here. So that is a very good question.
What governmental entities do that? Does the police department pay to be in existence?
Mark can answer that better than I.
Or the Park and Rec, or the
Especially Park and Rec.
Street
Does.
Department.
I believe Park and Rec and the MEC were considered non-essential. So, which I always beg to differ. We're keeping the community healthy and well. But it is what it is. You know, fire, police, that's essential. Streets, essential. So I think it's just part of the deal that we have to earn our keep, per se, and not run in, you know, the red if we can manage that. I mean, we're fortunate enough to get our salaries and, you know, stay open, but
The salaries are outside of what we have to pay back.
I think as a whole, everything is factored in as a whole. So we just have to pay what we can and there's a certain expectation on us, which surprisingly, we haven't started budget yet. Like right now, I would probably have maybe a little bit more of an answer of what I'm supposed to pay in, but there's been a lot of change with Kathy retiring and Emily coming in, and so I'm sure those numbers will be coming, you know, we'll be getting to that point soon, and I'll have more details on that. Can we answer that in any better way?
No, unless Ms. Slade is here.
Right.
Which wouldn't be a bad idea someday to have her.
Yeah,
here.
maybe in the
Explain-
next meeting I can,
Explain how funding from the city helps.
yes,
This organization.
yes, I can ask her
What we get and what we gotta get to.
and what we've
stay.
got to get, right.
Some kind of breakdown.
Okay, I will definitely ask her to join us. So I'll put that on our agenda
Put it
for
on
next.
Whenever there's not a lot.
Yeah.
But just her presence, I think, would be
Mhm.
a nice thing. And it'd be good for the city too, for showing interest here as well.
And the interaction I've had with Emily so far is
Oh,
she's wonderful,
Yeah.
very, very intelligent and bright, and
Yeah.
sound communication.
Mhm.
Communication that makes sense
Mhm.
in financial, because financial can get, you know, a little bit much. So she's great at communicating that. So
Get her out of the office for.
yeah, she'd probably enjoy that. She helped at our festival close at admissions one day. So yeah, she really enjoyed that for the couple hours, and she also does some quilting. Yeah, she's really great. Okay.
Just last question on the festival, do we think we got people from outside the area?
Oh, we
Yes.
did.
I mean, that helps the community.
It's right, and thank you for mentioning that. Yes, I had a gentleman call from Hartford. He and his wife he called and he said, I'm just checking to make sure that you still are having your quilt show. And I said, well, yes, we are. And he said, okay, because I'm from Hartford and we're driving up for that. I said, you're driving up for a quilt show? Like, it was like, he goes, well, it's kind of twofold. We're camping, and then my wife loves quilt shows. And I go, oh, you're going to get the Good Husband Hero Award. And he goes, that's right. So he said, I'm going to come and bring, and he was very
They were here a long time.
They were here a long time. And then they left for lunch. I sent them to local establishments for coffee and lunch. Then they came back she wanted to win the quilt, but she didn't. So, but yeah, so Hartford, Minnesota, I think there was somewhere else. Did you hear? There were quite a few.
Even, I know, Fond du Lac, I saw Fond du Lac.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were quite, it drew, so yes, it is good for our community as a whole also,
People
yes.
come to a community because of this. They don't come to a community because of a police, fire, and street department. I mean, because every community has those.
Yeah.
This makes a community unique to get people to come.
Yes, and
so-
then, yes, and it filters, so thank you for bringing that.
I have a
Yeah.
real issue on what's essential or not. I mean, I think we went through all of that in COVID. You know, essential businesses couldn't be open, essential ones could be.
Yeah.
You know, and in a community, every business or government entity is essential.
Mhm.
You're gonna have a community that thrives, I guess is a better way to say it.
Well, and our community does, I mean,
And just the volunteers, we had people volunteering from Tomahawk and Wausau.
right,
And they come to the community, they maybe buy some gas, they maybe go to a restaurant, maybe go down to Johnson's and buy something or whatever.
Medford, with Medford people.
The furniture store or something, you know, whatever. When you're in the community, Or at least you know it's in this community, you may come back.
Yes,
You may say, that's a nice store, I wanna come back. You know?
Unfortunately, I overheard one lady saying too, I think it was one of the committee people. So now, tell us where your nearest quilt shop is.
oh, I know. Shoot, that's a business opportunity.
Oh,
So we
big
may
time.
want to, yes, we may want to,
Because there's one out in Tomahawk's business.
right, exactly. So yes, there's a business opportunity for sure. So yes, thank you for that, because anything that we offer, you know, the fair too. The fair was, people come from wherever for the fair, they come for something like this. And we do get people from Wausau on a weekly basis that come here to our activities. And, I mean, they have more, a little bit more there, but you have to pay annual membership, if I'm not mistaken, at some of the landing, is it called, I think? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's associated with the Y, so if you're part of the Y, then you kind of, but there's, you know, and the prices are a little higher there, you know, some a lot higher. So we have people just on a weekly basis coming from those locations too, so that, it is good. But yes, events like this always bring awareness not only to the Enrichment Center, but to the city and support the city, so it's good to know that.
Do you have a lot stating where people are from or visitors?
No, we did not.
Sign, if you have-
And what, so we recap it, and what we've decided for next year, which we thought of it 2 years rather, next time I should say, yes, thank you. Thank you. I can't. But we were gonna put a map
Oh,
and then
sure.
have little
Good
pins
idea.
and people
Good
can,
idea.
and then, yeah, and then they could technically write down also a little notebook by it to say this is where we're from. Well, and same with the fair too. People might be visiting family and end up coming to the fair, but they're from down south or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it would be a good thing to measure, for sure.
Do the raffle tickets have an address on them?
They do.
They-
That's why, I was selling tickets and that's why I remembered specifically Fond du Lac. Beyond that, I don't remember.
Yeah, and we have to legally save those.
So you could
Raffle
look through
tickets.
those and
We
see
could,
where
we
people
could
are
scan
coming
through them. I think we did as we were, you know, counting them and bunching them, the ladies did. So yeah, that would be another way
I think it'd be
to,
just an interesting part to have in the file, and where are people coming from?
yeah.
How they hear about
Oh, you've got that.
Oh, I got that,
it. No,
because I have,
Fond du Lac,
yeah.
How they hear from way down
Yeah,
there.
so-
Eastern corner.
so that brings to advertising.
Oh.
So advertising is hard to measure.
Mhm.
So I made some sheets at the front desk that basically had all of the methods that we chose to promote the show. And I just, at the top, I put, help us please, you know, help us measure our effectiveness. So they just simply put a tally mark next to everything. So at the bottom of the handout here, it says advertising. Word of mouth, quilt shops, and Facebook were noted as best forms. Guess what? Those are all free.
Yeah.
So free is good. I spent more money this time on advertising than the last time, and I'm not sure that I will do that again because I don't know if we're getting our return. So we will no longer advertise in newspapers because remainder was photo news, city pages, newsletter, signs in town, and the register. We will not be doing those, but the exception might be our Merrill, our local Merrill photo news. We did 3 different through, Jennifer from MMC. So we did Marshfield, the newspaper that goes to Marshfield, the Rhinelander area, Eagle River, Rhinelander area, and ours. So we did do photo news, but still, it wasn't vast. It was a small amount. So it's nice to be able to gather that because I won't spend that kind of money again on advertising. We're hopeful. I also did reach out to 3 news stations to try to promote the event. I did a press release early on, 3 months before, and followed up 3 weeks after via email and voicemail. Again, finally got a hold of somebody at Channel 7, and she was seemed very receptive. But she said too, I can pass this on to, she was a reporter, but other reporters who handle these types of events. And she said, but I can't guarantee anything. I even have a cousin who works for Channel 9, and that doesn't seem to matter either. You're supposed to use your connections. But none of them called back, none of them showed up. So I was disappointed. Not in Channel 9, because Channel 9 never seems to cover Merrill for whatever that reason may be. It's few and far between. But Channel 12 is usually really good. And 7, hit or miss. So that was a little disappointing.
Photo news did come in.
Yes, at the end of the day, she did come in and take some pictures, and she seemed like she should have been on rollerblades because she had like a bunch of different things to get to. But yeah, Tina came in and took some pictures. So hopefully that'll be in our photo news at some point soon. So I know there's a lot of stories that come before. Sometimes it's a month out even, but at least it's some press for us to get, yeah. So lots of time and effort, and I think overall there's a lot of positives from it, and we did profit a little as well. So that certainly is helpful. In our wrap-up meeting, we did some things that kind of noted some things that maybe for our next time. And I did throw out for everyone to get food for thought that instead of a 2-day, we just have a 1 big day event. So that too may also help. Friday seemed to be busier, but then it was just that afternoon. And then again, trying to work around all of the other events everywhere.
My theory was that, and there were men that came to the show, don't get me wrong, but on Friday, it was kind of a lot of ladies. And my theory was, okay, I'm going to the quilt show today, but at 6 o'clock we can go camping or do whatever. They would still have the weekend to do whatever they wanted.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe a Thursday evening and a Friday, if you're gonna do 2 days, avoid the Saturday, but whatever you. get
Yeah.
that around.
Yeah, we have to figure that out. Because it's a lot of work. I think the point is it's a lot of work for just a 1-day show.
Yep.
And it would be a long day. It wouldn't just be like a half day. It would, our fall craft event is, 9 to 2. So it would be like a full day, like a 9 to 5 type of thing or something. But yeah, Saturdays are tricky because you're.
Especially at this time of the year.
Yes. And so we did brainstorm maybe having it earlier, but then Medford's is earlier, then Madison's is there, and then Eagle Rivers, and it's like a chess match trying to figure out where to place it and when to have it.
And once you start like an August show, that kind of gets ingrained in people, and they look forward to those dates.
There.
Yep.
We're creatures of habit.
Oh, yeah.
Any further discussion on the quilt day? Okay, we're gonna move on to the September calendar.
Yeah, September calendar. So we don't have it out yet. It's here. Sharon proofs it for us each month. Thank you for doing that. We get as many eyes on possible so that we try to avoid errors. We do have our Fall Crafted Market coming up. We are full in our expo, and we are 3/4 full in the Steckman building. So that's good. We have 4 food trucks coming instead of just 2. So that's good, a variety of different choices.
What day is that?
It is Saturday, September 28th from 9 to 2. We start set up Thursday night. We allow vendors to come in Thursday night, or Thursday late afternoon, I should say, and then we lock up at night, and then we come back in Saturday morning at 6. And then the people who like to set up just 1 day, then they come in as early as 6, set up, and then we start the show.
The 28th, you said?
Yep,
So that's
September
homecoming week.
20, yes, and it always, that kind of happened the last couple of years, and we were like, oh, should we switch it, should we not? But actually, it's actually better, because there's more traffic, and then the parade comes right here, so people are like, what's happening there? And so then, it kind of works out really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is, that's happening for us in September. Otherwise, most of the things in September are normal, fitness and classes. We have some new offerings always, which you'll see in that. I'm trying to think if we have one new offering. we had a gentleman reach out to us, and we are going to have a brass patina group, local retired musicians who share their talents with area seniors and veterans. So their repertoire consists of a variety of musical styles: big band, classical, gospel, patriotic, classic hits, and yes, of course, polkas. So they're going to be coming here on September 19th at 1 p.m. So that's a new offering for us. So we will make sure social media has that, and Lonnie's great promoting it on the radio for us. And,
They do some volunteering, like at the assisted living and so on.
oh, yes,
I've seen it.
isn't that
I
great?
haven't heard them, but.
Yeah. So that we're really excited about that offering. So
That's a Thursday, right?
that's I don't know, September 19th. That's really good if you know that that's a Thursday.
It is.
Yes, it is. It's right here.
It is.
I was like, wow. I gotta get good luck. Like, how do you know that's a Thursday just off the top of your head?
But I just booked something.
Yeah.
I just booked something for the 5th.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, wow. Okay, that's great. So yes, so that's at 1 o'clock. Oh, it's right before our meeting, so you all can come early.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah, that would be great. So that's new, and then our Parkinson's group again. That we're starting that up this month, but it'll hopefully continue. I have to get in touch with the state director and get information about. They like a facilitator or a leader of the group, and we have yet to have anyone step up for that. So I will probably do that and get the details from her for. It's not necessarily leading the group, it's just providing information from the state and maybe a topic that the state has in mind that month, and then starting the conversation. So not me starting the conversation, having that be the starting conversation for the group. But then really, she said the group generally everybody will start to chat, the caregiver for the person themselves, sharing experiences, sharing trials, I guess, and how best to, deal with those. So it's going to be, it's a needed group, and I hope that enough people start to take advantage of it, because I do believe it's very important. So we'll continue that. We have our annual holiday shopping trip. If you've seen it at the front desk, we wanted to give people 2 choices for that. We want to fill the lamers, because last time we did 2 buses, and rather than that, we just want to do one or the other. So it's either Appleton or Johnson Creek outlets, which are down just past Madison a little bit. So that's an extra 25-minute drive each way. So we had people sign up either or specifically one. So we've now narrowed it down to just Appleton, because it seemed like people wanted to travel less and shop more. So, yes, exactly. So we are going to we'll call the ones who signed up for Johnson Creek to say, would you be interested? Because we need 33 people to fill that bus and then take that trip. So we're happy to be able to work with Lamers again. We've done that before in the past. So those are some of the big, the bigger things that are going on for September. But otherwise, it is a couple new things and a lot of our general same offerings that we always have on a monthly basis. So that's that.
Thank you. All right, item number 6, discussion on anything that Mrs. Marachik would like to discuss pertaining to the Enrichment Center.
The one thing I would like to mention is our endowment. I expected right when we created the endowment to get a little influx right away of donations, which we did, and then I anticipated it just being stagnant for a little. So I would like for the committee, if you wouldn't mind, to we have a bunch of brochures to kind of promote the endowment, and basically it's for the longevity of keeping the Enrichment Center open. So I am going to try to probably, I don't know if this fall or not, maybe a little bit this fall, but for sure in the beginning of next year, to go and talk to some organizations. And I'd be happy to have one of the committee members with me, if you're willing to go with, just to talk about what the Enrichment Center is and the longevity of this center, to be able to have it continually operate. Once I retire and move on and whatever else, it's really to keep this as a part of our community.
So what happens with the monies? Say you've got $5,000, what happens with that monies?
Okay, so that is dedicated to the endowment for the enrichment. So the city can't take it.
Okay.
So that's why it's important to, function and then we get to use that money for programming and paying for workshops or bands or whatever we're going to offer. That's what that would do. Because it's very specific funding. It has its own account and people are donating that money. Now, as far as discretion on needs, we have, do you want it to go to something specific? Do you want it to go to the Parkinson's group to support that? Do you want it to go, the donors can have that discretion to do that. Or
I think that's important for people to know.
Yes.
That's why I raised the question.
Yes, or if they just say, whatever the center needs, the, director can take the money and put it towards whatever is needed. So
The library has.
they do, yes, yeah, so, but, yeah, so that's a very good question for clarification.
I got from the interviews for the
Okay.
adult education.
Oh, I know, okay,
Yeah, I guess you're not coming.
yeah, I know, I told them
My
little
one
busy.
comment on the endowment is, it seems like when people are donating money, it's as a result of a death, a lot of it, if people have died. And you look at them, it's the typical ones, it's the library, the historical society, the humane society, churches, I may be missing a couple here, but those seem to be the common ones. And then the question is, why are they the common ones? I think it's because it's out in front of people. I mean, we just got something from St. Vincent de Paul. I mean, we took some clothes there or something. Somehow we got on their mailing list. So we got a mailing from them, and there was an envelope in there to make the donation. I think it's just that awareness, and we may have to do the same thing. We may have to have something that goes out regularly with an envelope in it. I'm not sure, that's obviously a cost, but somehow we have to make the community aware of it. So if there is a death or someone, for whatever reason, wants to make a donation, we're right up there on that
Yes,
list.
that's true. And so the funeral homes offered to have some also, because that's, what they do, so I can get them into those locations as well. But yes, the envelope mailings, we get those as well, and that's a good idea. Cost-wise, we're gonna incur some costs, but in the long run, it may be worth that investment. All right, thanks, Jake.
Welcome.
I hope those interviews go well. I think so too. All right. Okay, so, anything else on that
Discussion.
endowment or discussion?
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item 7, date and time of next meeting. The next meeting will be on September 19th at 2:15 in the MEC conference room. And can most people make that?
Yes, let me know if you cannot.
Okay. And then the last item, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I'll second.
Okay, your motion and a second to adjourn. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you for those people that listened and watched the Enrichment Center Committee meeting. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.